Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to We Reflect the Light newscast, where we keep the original nation informed by identifying current events and future news through an unsealed biblical perspective. I'm Nicolette Hodge, here with our group panel, and today we will be identifying reality by exposing characters of the unsealed Bible that we have been taught by our enemy to view in a spooky way. We will also expose the Jesus lie while identifying who Satan, the devil, and demons are. We will also identify Joshua the Messiah and his mission. Additionally, sisters and brothers, we will highlight the war in the Middle East and how its outcome will affect the black man and woman in America. All right, sisters and brothers. First, we start off with our 400-year history here in America and the reward we have for our sacrifice. Brother Ramadan, will you identify the Holocaust and the Abrahamic covenant? And I'll start off by reading that scripture for you, brother. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, in horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces.
Brothers and sisters and brothers, Brother Ramadan. And as the sisters have stated in this chapter, brothers and sisters, 15, 12 through 17, it speaks of the original black man and black woman and that which we produce, the black child, our beginning in the North American wilderness. As it states, our father, Abram, had a vision and was allowed to see the future and that which we would fall under, which were, as we know now, after 400 years, are criminals and those who we came to serve, and they implemented affliction upon us. 400 years, 4 generations, brothers and sisters. We've been locked in another man's vision and another man's reality. We've been caught up in a false religion that they call Christianity. And we know that that religion starts off as committing mischief and shedding blood. And in that 400 years, we didn't learn that we have been able to take all that they have been giving out. And now we are the strongest, brothers and sisters, and especially the black woman who took the most pain because of the rape. The rape of the black woman was the worstest thing that they could did to the black nation. But she strong enough to survive and keep the seed of the black man in existence. And for this 400-year reward, brothers and sisters, we go to Genesis 15:18. And 15:18, brothers and sisters, speaks of our reward after our 400 years, brothers and sisters. And it states that in Genesis 15:18, the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, our father, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, brothers and sisters. This is our land. This is the Abraham covenant. This is the vision, brothers and sisters, for the original black man, black woman, and that which we produced, the black child. No more under the Christianity vision. No more hope, brothers and sisters. No more of that which we have endured for the 400 years. Now it's time for our reward, the heaven that we will walk in. We don't have to die to get to this heaven, brothers and sisters, and we'll be living in the reality of the most beautifulest woman on the planet, the Asiatic black woman, like her man, the maker, the owner, and the cream of the planet Earth.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Ramadan. All right, sisters and brothers, as Brother Ramadan has identified, the Abrahamic covenant is our vision. This is more than a promise, sisters and brothers. This is God's sure and volatile word to place us back in our own land, which is Arabia. Arabia is the land that's in between these two rivers, the river of Egypt and the great river Euphrates. Arabia is our promised land, sisters and brothers. So anyone telling you that we're supposed to stay here in America or America is our land, they're lying to you. The verse right before this identifies that we are strangers in a land that is not ours. So anyone telling you that this is our land is calling God a liar. Anyone telling you that this is our land is against the scriptures. And our history, our 400-year history right here in the hills of North America, that time period was 1619 to 2019. 2020 came in with the judgment. So that's how we verify where we're at in time right now. It shows that in the fourth generation, they shall come hither again. We're in the fourth generation right now, sisters and brothers. And hither means to return. It means to come here again. So all throughout Abram's vision of horror even identifies that we're leaving this strange land that we are being afflicted in which our enemies, they don't speak about the affliction they put us through. They only talk about the slavery. However, slavery is only 1% of our experience. They don't identify the other 99% of our experience, which is the affliction. So the Holocaust is the correct term for our experience, not slavery, the Holocaust, sisters and brothers. So with that being said, during the Holocaust, the original Black woman made a special contribution to preserve Abraham's seed. So let's get into the history of the warrior queens. Now, as Brother Ramadan identified, all throughout the Holocaust, these devils raped the original Black woman relentlessly. They raped us nonstop and forced us to give birth to their demon children. Demon means half devil, half man. So the devil put his seed into our wombs and forced us to give birth to devils in black skin. So the demons, they have a black skin tone, however, they have devil blood running through their veins. And this is something that the warrior queens, we endured this affliction. This was our enemy's plan to wipe Abraham's seed out of existence. So they were trying to commit genocide on our nation, and we overcame them. So that's why we are warrior queens, the strongest woman on the planet. And this experience that we endured shows our strength. We carried our nation on our back. And while we were being raped relentlessly, we snuck. We went out of our way to procreate with our original man, to ensure that we kept Abraham's seed coming through the womb. So because of our sacrifice, Abraham's seed is still here today, and we are the evidence of that, sisters and brothers. So if it wasn't for us, we would not be here to receive the Abrahamic covenant and fulfill it. They were also trying to prevent the birth of Joshua the Messiah, which he is also the seed of Abraham. So this is why they were trying to totally annihilate our seed, to prevent us from being here today, to prevent us from fulfilling the Abrahamic covenant, sisters and brothers. So understand that we are at war. These devils, they are not only the devils, however, all of our enemies are trying to destroy us on every level. So this deliberate attack that was made against our seed, we have overcame that attack of genocide, and we are the most victorious people on the planet. So we're going to continue to be victorious. All right, sisters and brothers, let's keep moving. Now we get into our main topic. This is a continuation of last week, reality check part 2. All right, our enemy has taught us to believe and pray to Jesus. Brother David, will you expose the word Jesus? You're on mute, brother.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. All right. So Jesus. There was no Jesus. The person who showed up 2,000 years ago was not named Jesus or Jesus Christ. His real name was, or is, Isa ibn Maryam. Either way, he didn't die for anyone's sins. So that was and still is a lie. So the name Jesus is totally made up. It doesn't exist. You cannot find the name Jesus anywhere in the translation of the original manuscripts. The original scriptures were written either in Aramaic, Hebrew, or Arabic, not in English, Greek, Spanish, or French. So when you go searching in these books, you will not find the name Jesus nowhere in these original scriptures, not in the Old Testament, New Testament, or the Quran. Instead, you will find the name Yahshua or Joshua, which is the same name in different languages. Yahshua is the Hebrew word for Joshua in Aramaic. Now, these devils decided to do, they decided to do things the way they wanted to do it, which would benefit in their favor and deceive you. So instead of translating the original manuscripts straight to English, they translated to Greek first, then translated to English. See, that's how the devil come up. That's how they came up with the whole Jesus thing, because there is no J or JE in Greek. However, there is a GE, which is a prefix for earth or ground, like geology, geographic, geocentric, etc., right? Which are all Greek words that pertain to the earth. So this is how they slapped the name Jesus in on our people, because Greek's supreme being or God is called Zeus, which means God of the sky, king of the gods. And since there is no J or JE in Greek, they use the prefix GE, which means earth, right? So if you combine it with the name Zeus, you get the word Jesus, totally made up, because Zeus never existed and neither did Jesus. It's a myth. It's fairy tale. It's all made up. See, but that's not all. They also took the name Jesus and added the Greek word Christos, which means Christ in English, from the Hebrew word Messiah. And that's how they get the name Jesus Christ. It's made up because there's no word called Christos found in the original manuscripts. And so-called Jesus was never in Greece, and he didn't speak Greek. So the whole thing is completely made up to throw you off, brothers and sisters. Jesus Christ, a so-called Jesus the Messiah, is a diversion from Joshua the Messiah, you see, which would detour you from the truth that we're living out the scriptures and from recognizing Joshua the Messiah, which is the messenger of the covenant. The one who would clean us up, lead us home, and fulfill the Abraham covenant.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother David. All right, sisters and brothers, as Brother David has identified, the word Jesus is totally made up. That name never existed in the original manuscripts. Our enemy did that to deter us from Joshua the Messiah. So this fact right here totally destroys the religion of Christianity. The entire basis of Christianity is them praying to Jesus. However, Jesus never existed. So this is another part of the affliction that our enemies put us through. They told us that if we didn't believe and pray to Jesus, that we were going to die and go to hell. However, sisters and brothers, the unsealed scriptures identifies everything and everyone around us. We are in hell right now. We are in the hells of North America, where we endured the Holocaust, where we have been enslaved and afflicted for the last 400 years. Here in the land of our imprisonment, hell is a physical place. They told us if we love and pray to Jesus, we accept Jesus, when we die, we'll go to heaven. However, and they told us heaven is somewhere, again, invisible, beyond the sun, moon, and stars. However, that's a lie, sisters and brothers. Heaven is the Middle East. Even the Supreme Wisdom lessons identify our heavenly home is Arabia. So Christianity, they say that that's the light. That's what religion is, that's what that's supposed to be. However, everything is invisible. That's darkness. So we are exposing who's who and what's what, sisters and brothers, getting back in touch with reality. This is a reality check, because everything that they told you is a lie, sisters and brothers. So with that being said, let's move forward. All right. I'm going to identify Louis Farrakhan from scriptures and biology. All right. This is a demonology chart. Ology means the study of something. So we're studying demons. Demon means half devil, half man. Again, our enemy has taught us that demons are something invisible, and character flaw, attitude, or some invisible thing that jumps into you and makes you act different. However, demons are real physical people walking amongst us, sisters and brothers. Understand that this gets back to the rape of the black woman. All right. We were forced to produce an entire hybrid nation of devils in black skin, house Negroes. Those are demons, sisters and brothers. They have a black skin tone. However, they have devil blood running through their veins. All right. And it is a scientific biological fact that you are the seed of your father. So demons, they have a devil father. So it's not about skin tone, sisters and brothers. It's about your bloodline, which can only be determined by your father. So here with Louis Farrakhan, let's identify his biology. Louis Farrakhan admits that his father is a devil who raped his black mother. So he put his devil seed into her black womb and forced her to produce Farrakhan, which makes Farrakhan a demon. He's half devil, half man. He looks black. However, he has devil blood running through his veins, and he has a devil nature. So, and then from a scriptural standpoint, Louis Farrakhan, he is Legion. All right, Legion. So Legion, the word Legion identifies Farrakhan's bloodline and his mission. So let's keep moving, and then we're going to come back to this. I'll show you from scriptures, the book of Mark. Then he asked him, "What is your name?" And he answered, saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many." Also, he begged him earnestly that he would not send them out of the country. All right, sisters and brothers, so Legion is the chief demon. And Legion is identifying that there are many demons. So that gets back to what we have identified about the fact that the black woman was raped and forced to give birth to a hybrid nation of devils in black skin, the demons. And the rape was so consistent that half of the blacks in America are demons, house Negroes. The other half of blacks in America are saints. That's the original brothers and sisters. So let's go back to demonology. So LEG, all right? LEG identifies Louis Farrakhan's birth name, Louis Eugene Grounds. That's Farrakhan's birth name. ION, that's the Nation of Islam backwards. And that's exactly what Farrakhan has done. He's turned the Nation of Islam backwards. He worked when Elijah Muhammad departed in 1975. Louis Farrakhan worked with Wallace Muhammad to destroy all $80 million worth of the nation's assets. He then brought in Sunniism. which is totally against Elijah Muhammad's teachings. He also has brought devils into the Nation of Islam. So he's brought his own family members into the Nation of Islam. He's done that through Scientology. He has devils in FOI uniforms. He's telling us not to identify devils as the devils that they are. When the Supreme Wisdom Lessons clearly says that they cannot be reformed, Farrakhan, he's trying to reform devils. So it's clear who Louis Farrakhan is. And what is he saying? Legion begged him earnestly not to leave the country. That's exactly what Farrakhan's saying. He doesn't want to leave America. He doesn't want to see America be destroyed. And what is he saying? He says that the devils are his brothers. He kisses so-called Father Flager. He's not our father, but that's they call him Father Flager. He kisses him and says that that's his brother. And that's true. That is his brother. However, we have to understand that the house Negroes were put over us to deceive us, to keep us in check. All right. And they're taskmasters, role models, overseers. They report what we're doing back to Massa. Okay. And they are misleading us. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. They look like us. So the sheep are confused about who's who. And what are they saying? They're constantly accusing us. They say that we're sinful, constantly throwing us under the bus. That's what Farrakhan is doing. He's saying that we're sinful. He says that we deserved the 400 years of horror that his double fathers put us through, so that we don't get a reward for that. So he's totally against us. He preaches against us and in favor of the devils. And that's because he is one. So reality check, sisters and brothers, identifying who our enemies are. Louis Farrakhan is a hidden enemy to the original nation. And that's what the demons are. They are a hidden enemy because they look just like us. However, they have the opposite nature. They have a different bloodline from us, sisters and brothers. So be aware. All right, let's keep moving. All right, sisters and brothers, scriptures identifies the one who fulfills the Abrahamic covenant. Sister Fatima, will you identify the messenger of the covenant?
Yes, ma'am. Assalamualaikum. It speaks about the messenger of the covenant here in Malachi chapter 3, verse 1. It reads, "Behold, I will send my messenger who will prepare the way before me. Then the Lord whom you seek will suddenly come to his temple, the messenger of the covenant." All right, sisters and brothers. So this is what we're focusing on today, the messenger of the covenant, right? And it reads right here that he will be the one to come after the messenger, right? So how we will identify him is he will be preaching the covenant, right? Revealing the covenant to us, right? And it shared that he will be the Lord, right? Whom you seek, right? So, sisters and brothers, the messenger of the covenant is in fact the Lord whom you seek, right? And he is in fact the messenger of the covenant, which is in fact our vision. Sisters and brothers, he is here giving us a message about the covenant. And that is how you will identify who he is. And it shared that that's who the one will come after the messenger. So anyone that is not preaching the message of the covenant is not the one to come after Elijah. Like Farrakhan, he's claiming to be the Messiah. And that's exactly who the messenger of the covenant is, right? Which, like I shared, he is the Lord, right? So if he's claiming to be the Messiah, he would, in fact, meet this description. He would be giving the message about the covenant, sisters and brothers. And he is not doing that, sisters and brothers, because he's, in fact, against the covenant, because the covenant is, in fact, the vision for the black man and woman of America, the original nation. And the covenant tells us that we will leave this land, sisters and brothers, and go back to our land. And that is totally against Farrakhan. So, as I shared, it shared that the one will come after Elijah would be the messenger of the covenant, right? So, anyone else that is, preaching to you now is, in fact, a fraud, because if they're not teaching you about the message and giving you the message about the covenant, then that's not who they claim. Excuse me, sisters and brothers. They're not the Messiah and the Lord that you should be seeking, sisters and brothers. And that person is Joshua, the Messiah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Fatima.
Yes, ma'am.
As Sister Fatima has identified, the messenger of the covenant is Joshua the Messiah. And what did Joshua the Messiah do? He's the one that led the Israelites home to the promised land. So Farrakhan, he's saying that he's the Messiah. However, as Sister Fatima identified, he's not even speaking the covenant. Not a peep. He says that we ain't going anywhere. So he's speaking against the Abrahamic covenant. And that's because the Abrahamic covenant is against him. It shares, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Farrakhan is not Abraham's seed. He is the seed of the devil. So the Abrahamic covenant is totally against him. So it's impossible for him to speak the covenant because it's against him, sisters and brothers. However, this is how we identify the one, the messenger of the covenant. This is how we identify who Joshua the Messiah is. And scriptures also gives us a physical description. Hair like lamb's wool, skin like burnished bronze. That's not Farrakhan. That's not Elijah Muhammad. That's not Master Farad Muhammad. However, we do know that, what else does this verse share? It says that the Lord will suddenly come to his temple, which identifies that the messenger of the covenant will suddenly come to Elijah Muhammad's temple. So that's another identification of the messenger of the covenant as well. And it shows that we delight in him, sisters and brothers, because he's given us the door out of America. He's showing us the way out of here. So we have a door out of America's destruction. And that's what our enemies, they don't want us to leave. They're trying to prevent us from leaving this country. However, we have put our time in. So, sisters and brothers, as Brother David identified earlier, that whole Jesus lie is to deter you from Joshua the Messiah, sisters and brothers. So, reality check, just identifying who's who, what's what, where we're going, and what's taking place right now, sisters and brothers. So, we make our transition to the war in the Middle East, which the book of Revelations identifies the war in great detail, sisters and brothers. Brother Malik, will you expound on the war and how the outcome will affect the original black men and women?
Yes, ma'am. Sisters and brothers, the war that is taking place right now in the Middle East is directly connected to the original black man and woman here in America. Revelations 12:7-9 gives us details from the unsealed scriptures of the war that is taking place. It also gives us the participants or the characters or the participants in the war. And gives us a detailed understanding of the outcome of the war. Now, Revelations 12:7-9 states, and occurred war in the heaven, the Michael, and the angels of him, other to war with the dragon. The dragon warred and the angels of it, and not it proved strong, not but place was found of them yet in the heaven, and was thrown the dragon, the great, the serpent, the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, the making to air, the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. Sisters and brothers, first, as it was shared earlier, that heaven is on earth. Heaven is in the Middle East, or heaven is the Middle East. Heaven is not this place in your imagination, in that you have to that the only way you can see or go there is after you're dead, after death. Sisters and brothers, who has came and told you how, who shared with you, hey, I'm in heaven. This is something that you've been told, and you cannot prove not one, not none of it, that it exists. However, sisters and brothers, we have our people thinking that they're going somewhere and they're going to be having halos and wings, and this is their perception. This is how they think of heaven. This place that has gold roads, and you eat fruit and eat to each his own to how it is, because it's a dream. It's a dream. It's not reality. And the scripture lets us know that heaven is where the war will occur. So, sisters and brothers, heaven is the Middle East. Now, the Michael and the angels of him are Master Farah Muhammad, and his angels are Iran and Syria. And they go to war with the dragon. And the dragon warred and the angels of it. The dragon is the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia. And the angels of it is America, Britain, and false Israel. So these are the participants in this war. Michael and his angels, the dragon and his angels. and the angels of it. Now, sisters and brothers, the dragon and the angels of it are at war right now with Iran, and the God Master Farah Muhammad Michael has not yet showed himself. And all right. Now, the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia, America, Britain, and false Israel have all entered into the war against Iran. They're in a alliance against Iran right now as we speak. This is the war that's taking place in the Middle East. These four countries, however, three of these, the angels of the dragon, are the three nuclear powered countries, and they are the I don't know. Okay, they are three superpowers. Okay, so these are the participants, and it states, and not improve strong, none but place was found of them in the heaven. So this shares with us that the war took place in heaven, and now it's sharing that, and not it proved strong. So, and not but place was found of them in the heaven. So someone is not in heaven. This is not in heaven, and those that is not in heaven was not strong enough. They were defeated in the war. And it states, and was thrown the dragon, the great, the serpent, the archaic, the being called devil, and the Satan, the making to air, the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. So this is sharing with us that clearly the dragon and the angels of it were thrown out of heaven into the earth. So the dragon and the angels of it was defeated in the war in heaven. Now, it states the serpent, the archaic, the being called devil, and the Satan, the making to air, the being inhabited whole. Sisters and brothers, America, Britain, and false Israel are the superpowers of this world, the two superpowers, as well as false Israel, the synagogue of the Satan. These nations are influencing and ruling over the nations of the world. They're the rulers of this world. And we know that they're the devils, and false Israel is the synagogue of Satan. And they're causing the whole world to err. They have deceived the whole world, and they are causing mischief and bloodshed throughout the world. Now, sisters and brothers, so this is what Revelations is sharing with us, that giving us the participants, let us know it's a war in heaven, the participants in the war, and the those that was defeated and thrown out of heaven, letting us know that the outcome of this war will, Iran will be the victor. Iran and the God, Master Fard Muhammad, Michael, and Iran and Syria will be the victors of this war. Now, sisters and brothers, this war, the outcome of this war and how it's going to affect the original black man and woman, as well as how it's going to affect the world. Sisters and brothers, this war is going to cause an economic collapse on the world. This means, sisters and brothers, that your reality, the way you're living, is going to be brought to a halt. Sisters and brothers, and many of us don't understand what an economic collapse is, what it really means, because we think because America presents itself in all these movies that you watch, it no matter, it's an economic collapse, it can be the apocalypse, the aliens is coming, Bigfoot, Mad Dog, no matter what it is, they prevail. America, comes out, and in the end, America has a plan, and they're successful, and they come out of it. They didn't scrape their way through every bomb, earth cracking, and they always find a way that they are successful out of the situation. And that thinking is where our people are thinking. They had that thought in their mind, like, oh, this is taking place in, oh, that's over there. and like America's gonna be all right. No, that's not, sisters and brothers. This war is going to bring a collapse on the world's economy. It's going to collapse the American economy. It's going to change the world, change your life. It's going to affect your life. It's going to affect your reality. It's going to bring the reality that you're living in, this dream, to an end. You won't have food, water, lights, gas. This is what this war is going to affect. And America is not telling us that. The media is not going to tell you that. You're not going to know what's taking place until it is taking place. Matter of fact, sisters and brothers, it's considered a national security threat to America to even speak the truth, to tell you anything that's going on. No matter what, they're going to hold the truth from you. Now, sisters and brothers, why? They don't want you to know the truth. They're not going to tell you that they're failing. They want you to think just how you're thinking, just how the movie plays you in your mind, that, oh, we're going to be all right. Because as long as you don't see it coming, long as you don't know what's taking place, you won't see the snare, the trap, the attack that America has for us, sisters and brothers. You won't recognize when America is attacking all blacks until we're all being attacked. So America has a plan to attack all blacks, and sisters and brothers, we are being attacked because America, your enemies, our enemies, know who we are and know who false Israel is. They know that they have set up the plan. They have narrated the game board and put false Israel in the face of the people, claiming that false Israel is the true seed of Abraham, that false Israel has carried out the Abrahamic covenant. So we, the original black man and woman, the true seed of Abraham, do not see ourselves for who we are, because we're told that false Israel is the true seed of Abraham. And through Christianity and their Catholicism, they have pushed this agenda, this lie on the world and the original black man and woman here. They're blocking the truth by stating or setting false Israel up in the Middle East or in Palestine as if they're the true seed of Abraham, as false Israel has stolen our identity, sisters and brothers. And we do not understand or is being blocked of this understanding that we're the true seed of Abraham, because In 1948, America and Britain set up false Israel to counter Elijah Muhammad's claim. Now, sisters and brothers, this war in heaven is going to make it crystal clear that false Israel is not the true seed of Abraham. That false Israel is not God's chosen people. By the defeat, by the destruction of false Israel, it will be made crystal clear that false Israel is not the true seed of Abraham. By false Israel's destruction, it will be made crystal clear that their religious eschatology was a lie. It's been destroyed with false Israel, and that's going to bring the light, the truth, the fact. It's going to shine. It's going to allow the world to see exactly who the true seed of Abraham is. The original black man and woman right here in America, sisters and brothers. And that fact, that truth is going to cause the original black man and woman to rise to overnight, to know that we're the true seed of Abraham is going to cause us to rise, and as a nation, a mighty nation, as an army, as a exceedingly great army. And America is going to attempt to stop this rise, sisters and brothers. So when America is thrown out the Middle East, which this war lets us know, America is going to attack all blacks. So, sisters and brothers, this is a plan that they have concocted, that they're setting up, that they have already set this trap up. Now, sisters and brothers, then we have, or we're beginning, not that it's haven't been this way occurring anyway, but you're starting to recognize that America is, police is just killing blacks. Blacks are being hung all throughout America. Not just in the South. They've been hung all the way up in California and other places in America. Sisters and brothers, this war is going to send us into a time that the scriptures call unprecedented, uncharted, a time like never before. So, sisters and brothers, we have to understand the seriousness of what this is sharing with us, what unprecedented means. A situation that has never been. So, sisters and brothers, this means this time that we're going to go, that we're entering, is worse than the Holocaust, worse than our affliction that we know about, the hanging that you see every day, the mutilating, the amputations, the all of that. So think on, with all that has happened, what this war is going to send us, that this war is sending us into, is worse than that. So we're entering into uncharted, unprecedented times. Now, sisters and brothers, we're not staying here. We have a way out. We're going to rise. We're going to unify. We're going to come together as a exceedingly great army in security of our women and children. Brothers, our unity is our security. We're going to use the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam as our protection. And we're going to move through this period of time, this unprecedented trouble, which is called tribulations, getting a thorough understanding of self, a thorough knowledge of self, as we upload our new mind, the Injil mind. Sisters and brothers, so we will be successful. We will eat. Sisters and brothers, we are not worried, do not have to worry about what, how or what no one else is doing. How they're setting up, they're planning and preparing to stay here, setting up and tucking away and trying to hide food, and they're going in the mountains and they're doing. We ain't worried about that, because we're not staying here. So we don't even need to think about how and listening to this demon narrative, or the narrative of the don't knows, the blockers, or those that this truth has been blocked from, that think that they're doing the right thing because they've been told that, we're looking for reparations and we're going to come out of that. Doesn't, sisters and brothers, that doesn't even add up. you want reparations. You want to stay here, and you're about to go through famine, unprecedented time, war, chaos. This is what unprecedented. This is what the economic collapse is going to bring, not just here, but on the world, and mainly here. And you think that we want to stay here? Why would we want to stay here? Where it doesn't, that doesn't add up. And that is the message that the Chief Demon Louis Farrakhan and his student ministers are pushing and holding up this wall, help blocking the truth from us. They're holding up the lie that false Israel is the true seed of Abraham. Because they're not, that if we're not going anywhere, that means they're going to stay in that land, and they're blocking the truth of the dragon who is sitting on our land in the Middle East. The sisters and brothers, what? So they're blocking the truth, and the war in heaven is cleaning out our land, cleaning out heaven. So this is the outcome. This will be the outcome. And we, sisters and brothers, have to plan. Plan. It's the serious. You have to find a way to save something. If you don't save 30 days worth of food, get you at least 10 days, 14 days, something that you got to save, something for what is coming. You have to put up some food, some water, because when this hits, you won't have anything. It's going to hit, and it's going to, sisters and brothers, the effect is that they know about. See, they know about what's taking place. I'm gonna have to end this. They understand. So they're setting up. They're prostrating themselves for this collapse. It's being spoken on in their circles, but they're not going to tell us. They don't. That's why Walmart don't want nobody in there buying black people food. They don't want you buying no food. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to have nothing, so that when this takes place, we're immediately affected, which is going to immediately cause many of us to start going hungry. So it don't take long for a people to lose when you don't eat, you're going to be affected. Your children is going to be affected. No food. So they don't want us to know this, so that we don't have we already living day to day. So we don't have no food when this takes place, when this economic collapse happened. So they got food stuck, and they're waiting, and then they want we weak, they eating, and they see us as food. We're labeled as food. We're animals in their eyes. So They're planning, they're gonna eat us. That's their plan. Their plan, they are planning because they're going to, they got like us, like it shared, they want to kill us all for who we are. Because when false Israel is destroyed, it's going to shock the world, brothers and sisters. It's going to cause a shock. It's going to it's going to shock them because they know what, from witnessing what happened to false Israel, what's going to happen. They're going to witness false Israel's destruction. They're going to witness famine and men eating their own children, babies, cannibalism. They're going to witness this, and they're going to know that that is what's coming to here in America. And men's hearts will fail. They're going to start stroking out because they can't handle pressure no way. They're going to start falling dead, heart attacks. Oh, jumping buildings. I can't let I can't let my family go through this. This is what's coming to America. This is what the war in the Middle East is going. This is going to bring up on the world. This is what the economic collapse is going to cause, sisters and brothers. However, we have a way out, and we will be successful. With that, I'm going to return the mic to the sister.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Malik. All right, sisters and brothers, as Brother Malik identified, the outcome of the war in the Middle East, America's defeat, America, Britain, false Israel's destruction, the House of Saud will be defeated, the economic collapse that will take place as a result of that, which the famine will be following shortly after the economic collapse, the fact that all blacks will be under attack, and how it is that we are going to be victorious during this time period of unprecedented trouble, sisters and brothers. We have also identified who's going to be victorious in this war. Our God, Master Farad Muhammad, Iran, and Syria. We also highlighted the fact that the true seed of Abraham will be revealed during this war. We started off identifying our 400-year history right here in the hills of North America and the reward that we have for enduring the Holocaust, which is the Abrahamic covenant. That's our reward. Our vision. We have also highlighted the sacrifice that the warrior queens have made to keep Abraham's seed alive. We also exposed the Jesus lie, identifying that the word Jesus is made up. Jesus never existed. We identified the messenger of the covenant, the Joshua, the Messiah. We also exposed what demons are, and the chief demon, Louis Farrakhan. So with that being said, I will open up the floor to our panel for any final thoughts. All right, sisters and brothers, that brings this segment to a close, and we will be back with more. Assalamu alaikum.